What's good? It took me long enough to do this. But I'm thinking, since everybody wants to do a podcast, I should give it a shot too. Because it's so easy, right? After all, radios have been doing this forever. There must be a reason why they're a thing. This is going to be really fun for me. Because what I'm going to do, it's going to be completely unedited in one take and unscripted. Just like a real podcast would do. So, here I am. Here I go. All right. So, okay. So, I'm going to let you know right now, give you a heads up. It's best to listen to this in the background. Again, podcast, completely audio. So, do some dishes, pet your dogs, or finally finish editing that video while you're recording it somehow. I don't know. God. Oh, my bad. If I sound a little off right now, I did do my warm-ups right before I did this. E-I-E-I-O. I did this for 2 years straight for almost 40 minutes a day. I did not suffer that long not to do this. But thank God, right? Thank God. Okay, so, of course, what kind of podcast would it be without knowing a little bit of me? So, Troublesome Times. Title is just what everybody called me and my friends back in high school, because we weren't always the nicest or well-behaved people. Well, I was. But all the adults in my life would say, well, you should really stop being around those kids. You have so much potential. And I'm like, yes, but they're my friends and they're good people. It's like, don't throw your life away. They're going nowhere. And you have something else. Well, maybe you shouldn't underestimate people. Everybody changes in about 10 years. I know for sure that I have changed in 10 years, which goes to my next segment. Hi, who am I? My name is Jack Wonderland Frost. Yeah, everybody calls me Jack Frost, but that's my father's name. The one that you're talking to is Jack Wonderland Frost. I have had that name for over a decade. Yeah, nice segue, I know. Completely did not plan that out. I mean, I could show you these notes I have, take a picture of it right now. And this is all completely unscripted. I mean, that's what happens when you spend almost most of your high school career in theater. You take one shot, and there is a play that I have done that I'll eventually talk about. And it's really wild, but that's for another day. Alright, I shouldn't go dilly-dally for too long, right? But that's what I do, right? The typical Jack Frost things, if you know me. Oh, my bad. Jack Wonderland Frost things. Alright. Don't mind me. I always got a pen in my hand and a notebook if I'm not gaming and not watching anime. Oh, man. When I started doing this, becoming, I guess you could say, on the spotlight, I did not talk in videos at all. Well, and that's a big thing. I do love to write. I do love to draw. I do love to game and watch anime. It's kind of a signature character trait of mine, I know. So, it is a typical, right? I already said that, of course. So, this is, people, it's funny, when I started doing this, when I started doing the improvising, I was told, yeah, you're not ready for that. And now looking back, I definitely was not ready for that. But I'm doing better than ever. But anyway, Jack Wonderland Frost. That is my stage name. Although a lot of people will say my father's name. But me, Jack Wonderland Frost. Right. Okay. So, how did I form the stage name Jack Wonderland Frost? Now, this is where, yeah, a lot of these things aren't out of nowhere, believe it or not. I mean, I do write. I've written as long as I can remember. I've said that, I know. A couple videos ago, by the time this thing comes out. And it's weird, because, like, I come up with an idea, I don't ever forget it, and things I think I'm going to cut out, I eventually use for something else. I don't know if anyone else ever feels that way, but, okay. Anyway, and hopefully you pet your dog by the time all this white noise comes through. I'm trying to do not as much white noise as possible. I do not like when streams do, like, white noise. I understand 5 or 10 minutes, especially if you're doing these over an hour long, but give me something to wait for. Gosh. You know, I barely can do movies that are more than 3 hours long. So I don't know how in the world do these YouTube videos do 3 hours long or 5 hours long or 24 hours long. Oh, my bad. Or 24 hours long. I don't want to choke too much here. I don't know how they can do it, because I'm not one of them. I guess there's a reason why TV did episodes 22 minutes long. Right. Okay. Yeah, so. Again, this is like a real podcast, right? I'm by myself. But don't worry. It wouldn't be the first time. That's a good thing about someone that was a theater kid, is that everybody has to be the best at what they do, and if not, get the fuck out of my stage. This may be your show, and you may be the main lead, but this is my stage, so anything I says goes. Yeah, you know what? As you can tell, I had pretty high standards for me, and thank God, I think I came out a better person that way. You know, they say juvie will really straighten you out, but I think where I have been in theater, I think is more effective. And I know that's gonna, again, I'm sorry, you know, that will be brought up later. Right? So, Jack Wonderland Frost. I have had that stage name for over a decade, because in my senior year of high school, we were doing a study on the Victorian era, and we were supposed to we were supposed to pick a literature piece from the Victorian era. I chose Alice in Wonderland. What I thought was going to happen is that we were supposed to analyze the whole thing and then give our interpretation of it. What turned out is that we were supposed to do a chapter of each one. And my theory I originally had about Wonderland, that was the whole piece I was going to do. And that got rejected. Teacher said it was completely implausible. And they told me to do something else. So I ended up doing a critique on the Tea Party. So I would not let that theory go. Okay? I graduated early from my high school. So I spent a whole month waiting for my graduation ceremony. I was 17 too. I guess that's relevant in some way. And I really wanted to test my theory out so badly. And I just finished watching Rise of the Guardians. And I think that Jack Frost from Rise of the Guardians was the way he is because of my theory. And I tested out that theory for like less than a year, I'm going to say. It's been a while. And, you know, it's funny. If my teacher had actually accepted my theory on Wonderland, then I would have never been Jack Wonderland Frost. Hi. Right? There it is. So it was a roleplay account that I used because I wanted to work on my writing. See, it's kind of weird. I don't know how other writers would do it, but I think a good character is when people do believe it as a person. I don't know how well that is. It seems like my character, me, Jack Wonderland Frost, it seems to be, I love to laugh, and I want you to dance for me. I guess the best way to describe that is bored, and just curious, and excited, and reckless. Man, you could do a whole character analyzation on these things in my videos. I'm pretty sure the number one would be, I'm annoying. Shut up. Go away. Seems like the one thing I always do in these videos is sing. Well, thing is, when I get nervous or when I don't know, when I have to speak to something and I'm not ready for it, I will just sing something. And I was not as good at doing this a few years ago, which is why I'd always sing. And it's weird. People would tell you that I don't sound a lot like that. The whole deep, manly. It seems like it does not that effective anyway. Just, oh God, the regenerators must be coming back. I don't know if you guys heard that, but you know, yeah. So, oh boy. Well, it's a good thing I'm stuck in my house in the middle of nowhere, huh? Don't worry, I promise. I am safe for now. Yeah, so when I sing, I did that mainly, well, okay, maybe I should rephrase that, since that the creatures that are surrounded by my house in the middle of nowhere threw me off a second. They are okay. Just in case anybody wanted to know. Yeah, so I sing because I just enjoy it, and I just want to wake myself up, in case I start to fall asleep, or if I have nothing better to do, or if I'm waiting on somebody, whatever. It's a time killer. And it's weird because I'm looking back at when I sing, and gosh, anyone can tell you that I do sing lower. And I did that to, resemble the singers that I have been very into. I think it worked off for the most part. But now, and it's weird because especially this year, people started singing around me, and then I start to sing along. And next thing I know, it's like, oh, wow, you sing really good. Man, you're great. And I'm like, oh, thank you. I do this every week. Never said how, but it's fun, Singing seems to spread a lot of joy. And, I've been trying to sing back in my original key, and I think I'm doing just fine there. But it's good to have a lot of range. Isn't it? Well, before I perform some singing, since that's what I do, I am going to talk about my last video. The way that turned out, it was going to be the video playing over my writing, but I felt like, I don't know, it was going to be a lot bigger. It was going to be written for a poem and all that, but this was not mainly for me, and I didn't want people to think it was, or I was exploiting my friend. This was my friend. When we met, when we were I was 14, and I did not want to eat inside the cafeteria. A lot of the people there, and I did not get along. Then I saw my friend there, and then a year later, we were in the same class, and then when I was 16, we had to help the seniors direct a play for the whole year, and then we were good friends for a while. We both liked My Chemical Romance. I was pretty open to that stuff. And then I find out, funny enough, around the day before that, I found out that they were no longer around the day before that one certain moment. And I didn't know. But hey, I wonder how they would have felt if they knew that I'm like a phoenix. I should have known something was off when My Chemical Romance had a reunion. And nothing was said. And I would have known, believe me. And I was going to write all my feelings down, but I felt it was too personal. So I made it how it would be a gift. And I really like the song. I like most of My Chemical Romance songs. I mean, of course, that's what we became friends over. Gosh, it was hard. Welcome to the Black Parade. It was overdone. Dead is just too impersonal, and Helena was one of what got me into the band. And it's really fitting. There's Nah 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 Nah. That one's really good, but man, I got a hard rock one. So, there's nothing that deep about it, I guess. Well, yeah, there's plenty of things deep about it, but, it's funny, and the school we went to was so awful that they graduated like a year ahead of the rest of us just to get out of there. I did not blame them. I mean, I'm being respectful of what their identity, so that's the reason why they're being said like that before anyone assumes anything. It's pretty hard, And this actually fits with one of the lines I said in The Greatest Show. Because it takes, like, all these times that I've tried to do things like that. And I mean, nothing has happened to me. For God's sake, I had actually walked off okay. Being in front, colliding into a car. I don't even know how I recovered from that. Like, almost nothing. It was still god-awful painful. And then one thing happens to someone and they're just gone. All my friends are all gone, but each day I live on. And the people still think I'm a star. And that's something I did write about. And I just think, why me? Why me and that? Yeah, so I don't know what happened exactly, but I don't want to dwell too much about it. And it's best to remember somebody with all the good times you have. And if you want to, here's the thing that I do want to say. I understand that people, they wish they said things. But here's another thing. It would have been better if you told them while you still could. You never know if that's what's gonna make them stay tomorrow. But yeah. Yeah. And it's good for me. Like, that explains why around the same time, when, I would have been known as a Phoenix for some weird reason. Funny enough, I still kind of, I guess, knowing the lore and all that, I guess, for me, every time something bad happens to me, I do come back. Bounce back more than ever. You throw a rock at me, I throw a big boulder at you, it seems like. That is, if people have done me wrong, of course. I mean, I'm not that mean, as I like to say I am. I don't know. It's kind of funny, in a way, how people would want... Oh, crap. I'm bad. It's kind of funny that how some people... they believe something about you until you get to know them and you talk to them. And it seems like, wow, you are just like a buddy. Okay. At this point, I might as well embrace it, right? I am just a buddy that will never be scary enough. Got it. I better try a new route. Or... at least, why ruin the fun for everyone? Well, don't worry. I may be stuck in my house in the middle of nowhere, but I promise everything's good for now. And that's actually funny. that explains why another friend of ours. Yeah, see, that's definitely not me. Yep, guess that's my co-host, right? All the dogs that just happen to run around. I'm not even going to bother editing this, because what kind of podcast would it be if I just edited it this time, huh? My bad. I guess that's why, like, right after I disclosed what kind of things I was going through, another friend of ours was telling me, oh, I don't know what it's like, it's okay, because it was right after, like, this friend was gone, the friend that I dedicated the My Chemical Romance video to. So anyway, now, doing the typical things that I do, part of your world. Yeah, I'm trying to sing in my original key, because I'm really doing my best not to be too afraid to express myself anymore. I hope that's fine. But you know what? I've been trying to sing that song for years. That's the reason I can sing kind of high. I mean, I'm from Florida. I grew up in Florida. People ask me why you are the way you are. I'm from Florida. Seems like Florida seems to be that one strange place. I mean, it is the happiest place on earth. That is where it is hosted at. But you know what? It's fine. Here we have an orange juice section. I tell my friends from other states, okay, if you're going to visit somewhere, 1, the only good place here to eat is seafood. 2, it's hot, so pretty much wear all your best shorts and sandals. And the grocery stores here are limited because the grocery store chain is monopolized in this whole state. So if you like a certain thing, get it, take it. And I wish I could join you, but you are like 3 hours north of me. Have fun. So, of course, oh my gosh. I gotta cut that part out. I don't know. I thought maybe being in the house in the middle of nowhere would be a lot better than before, but it seems like it's the opposite. It seems like sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night just to make sure that nothing happens to me. I mean, for God's sakes, there's somebody that keeps looking out my window in a very in a very compromised position. What the fuck? I don't know who the hell that is. But it's okay. These doors have locks. Anyway, maybe those are the ones that keep doing it. It's the background noise I keep hearing. My bad if you do. So, yeah, The Little Mermaid, of course, since where I was born and raised. And do you know that we have an orange juice section here? Yeah. Go to the juice section and get a whole shelf full of orange juice. And what else in here is special? Well, of course, everywhere is near a beach. So don't go eat at places that's near a beach, because there's way better places to have seafood. Anyway, of course, The Little Mermaid is one of my favorite movies of all time. And I would say it is my favorite Disney movie. So imagine how I feel the same day that the remake is going to come out and this will be aired. What do I think of it? I know exactly how the people who watched the Lion King remake felt. My main problem isn't the actress. Let's the first thing out of the way. I think that would have been okay. I mean, it could have been better. I mean, she can sing pretty well, in my opinion. But, oh my god, the CGI in the movie is straight up terrifying. That is not going to age well. And I don't even know what's the worst thing. Scuttle, Flounder, or Sebastian. They all look. And God, I have seen this whole live show they did on the Disney thing where they played half the movie and then they all sing the songs in costumes. And I saw these kids in little crab costumes with shoes on for legs. And then they used a Jamaican man in a red body, in a red leather bodysuit as Sebastian. That was more enjoyable in a way than what the heck I was seeing. Hell, I wish they would have done that and make that the remake, because that would have been pretty cool. And then seeing like the novelization of the movie and how they basically modernized it in a way that makes no sense. In a way, I'm gonna watch it on Disney Plus. Mostly because first of all, by the time I know. Wait, not yet. Mostly because I don't want to waste $20, spend 20 minutes watching commercials in a movie that I will most likely be disappointed in, when I can spend nearly a third of that in my house at any time I want. And maybe I'll like it. God, I don't even know what the hell they were thinking with the remake. Well, I kind of do, but I wish they resembled it closer to the original. At least the story, but it seems like that's not going to happen. I understand that they want to do their own thing, but it doesn't have to be just Ariel or Eric. It could be a new mermaid or something. I mean, they have done something like that before. There was a TV show right after the movie and then the sequels. Oh my God. Imagine if the sequels were doing a live action remake. I think I'm gonna cry. I will break if they end up going through with that. Sheesh. And then, of course, I have beaten some games that taken me forever to beat. And this time, I'm gonna try and beat Resident Evil 4. Over 10 years of this. And you're wondering, some of you would say, why is it taking you so long? Well, simple answer is, I never had a copy of it growing up. I didn't grow up with Resident Evil. My friends did. I tried to play it, but they got too excited to play it. But I did watch. But what's a good thing about gaming is that you like other people gaming, and then that's fun, and then you want to game so bad and try it. And oh my God, it is so different playing the original and watching it. Oh, yeah. Right. It's so different when you play it. It's so different when you watch it because, dang, there's a lot of strategy in it. And you gotta think, but it's fine. I was so close to beating the original on normal mode. And then I'm at a point where I cannot just go back and do it all over again. I am like almost in chapter 5. But damn, I have done a lot better than I expected. But, that's what makes it kind of pretty something. Is that you don't see where it's coming. So, once I pretty much have been done with Resident Evil 4, the original, I am pumped up for the remake. And thank God, first of all, because I can play it on easy mode. And second, they did fix a lot of stuff that was wrong with it. And I could say the reason why I never finished, besides not owning a copy, but it's fun. It's a really fun game. And I am glad that I did tackle on that challenge because it makes me appreciate the games even more. I just bought Resident Evil 6. I always wanted to finish them in order. Then I tried to beat 0. And then eventually I figured out maybe it's not a good idea to try and play something completely different. Try playing the originals first. The first one, the second one, and all that. just to get an idea, because 0 is like a whole nother thing. Wow. Resident Evil 5 is going to be something else. But for now, I'm going to stick to Resident Evil 4 because I really want to unlock those costumes so badly. But it's fun. Gaming is fun. It's so relaxing. I mean, when you're on your computer studying or making videos, this gaming is just a de-stressor. And it's funny because it's kind of weird to me because people are wondering. It's funny. Yeah. So my bad. That's just making sure everything's fine here. It's funny because when I used to have a GameStop around me, one of the managers was like my own fellow gender. And when you are a minority in a male-dominated field, that can be pretty lonesome. True. Which is why we became pretty friendly with each other. And then my parents, I guess, my old man, Jack Ross Sr., he'd ask me, why aren't you around your own gender, whatever, and play games with them? And I say to him, because most of the ones that don't know anything, or they're kind of disagreeable. That's the best way to describe it. When I told this, when I told, my friend, my GameStop buddy, they completely agreed with me. And here's my take. If you think you got skills in a male-dominated field, you would try and mingle along them. You wouldn't try to run away or stick beside them or cast them aside. I mean, come on. Don't just exclude yourself like that. That's what I'm not going to do. I mean, I will be just fine. And a male-dominated people, my bad. And if they really are respectful and they're not intimidated by you, they'll be fine the way you are. Man, I've been playing light gun games since I was 4, for example. And seeing a little 4-year-old me, you're probably wondering, why did you even play those? It's like, well, because I could either sit with a bunch of 30-year-olds and 50-year-olds with my family and stay there and wait forever for dinner when we ever go out to eat, or I can just spend maybe less time waiting and go play games. I took anything. It was with a bunch of teenage boys, but I just played games, and then eventually I got good. I missed playing light gun games. So I think I would do just fine. When I was playing that one Resident Evil light gun style game on the Wii, like, people were surprised. My friends were surprised of how good I was. Like, yeah, I played them in the arcade. And this went on. This was going to be around 20 minutes. But you know what? It's good. I think this is a good amount right here. So then, I wanted to test the waters out and see the podcast. See if that'll work out. But, I also made like a little small promise to myself that I would go back to making videos again. Because I never want to stop writing again. I never want to stop creating again. Because in the last few relationships I had, they didn't know anything about the things I did. And then there was one potential relationship I had that was like, you have no future writing this. And those were the worst 2 years of my life. I don't know what's worse. Being told that you have no future, or the rest of them not even knowing at all. Yeah, and then, I like it. I like doing this kind of thing. I don't think I'm ever gonna stop in any way. And I think since I'm trying to do these every once in a week, well, the weekly thing is so I don't exhaust myself to death because I got other obligations. I have Courage, my dog. She's the most precious thing in the world. I do a day job. I have friends and family I need to spend time with so they don't forget about me, to say good things about me every single day because they love me. I've been told. And gosh, well, if you're still watching this and seeing something, I was nice enough to put in a picture. This is going to be original thumbnail for something else, but now I gotta find a new thumbnail. But, I think this is fine, too. I really like how this looked. But yeah, so whenever I'm gonna be off on a day, I think this be a nice way to fit in my little schedule a little. I don't know how this is gonna go. But, again, it's so easy, right? It is very easy to do these almost every single day for an hour, right? Because you just push a button and you talk completely live, by the way. Yeah, it's easy, isn't it? But, well, at least on the bright side, you could say at least you didn't hear much silence for a while doing all this. But, I'm always going to be around in some way. And I think, and I know for sure, the day I'm not around for too long, my phone will be blown up. And, that's one thing I wanted to address when I disclosed my personal struggles. So, yeah, I want to be around every single day. I want to live around here. I've spent 15 years waiting for old shows I've grown up, getting a remake and conclusions. I've spent, forever remakes of a game I want to come out. And it's, first of all, stuff like that kept me going. And now it's just like, people love me having me around. I know this for sure. And I've made a difference to a lot of people in a way. And, I was one of the last people who would have believed it. And I know there's plenty of people out there who have been where I have been. And, there's so many things you can tell someone. But, whether you know it or not, you matter to somebody. Even if they don't admit it. Who knows why? Well, I just say, sometimes, I guess the point I'm trying to make is some things are worth getting through. And the day that it ends, this whole misery you may go through, it's gonna feel better than ever. But yeah. Well, I laughed, I cried, I sang. Man, how did the people on the radio did all this? Kudos to them. Man, imagine me, us, around 50 years ago, and then you get famous like, how do you know who I am? I heard you on the radio. Awesome. Well, here's me testing the waters to Troublesome Times, the podcast, the pilot. Yeah, so hopefully you finished your duties. But I'm gonna enjoy my little vacation here. And I'll be back before you know it. So stay safe.